Welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. My name is George Alger. Today we're going to be speaking about replacing oil and gas in the Central Coast. And joining us is Ehlers with the CFROG nonprofit. And welcome, Haley. What is CFROG?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having me. So CFROG stands for Climate First, Replacing Oil and Gas. But yes, we are best known by our acronym. And CFROG is a local nonprofit working in the environmental advocacy space. So our mission and what we work towards is combating the climate crisis by working to shape the transition away from fossil fuels to a carbon-free economy on the Central Coast and in Ventura County. So yeah, that's CFROG.
Very good, very ambitious. And how do you do that?
Yeah, so we work in a variety of different spaces. Our origins, so the organization got started in 2014, and it got started at a really grassroots level, just a group of community members in Ojai who learned of a development happening at an oil and gas site, and they realized that that process wasn't necessarily super accessible to the public, so they got involved in order to not only educate themselves, but try to open up that process to the public and encourage other community members to get involved and know more about the oil and gas development happening in their backyards in some cases. So yeah, our origins are in oil and gas watchdogging at the local level here in Ventura County. So that looks like making sure that oil and gas operations are properly reviewed and permitted and monitored and compliant with local laws and state laws, as well as always advocating and promoting public health and the environment when it comes to new developments in the fossil fuel industry here. So that's kind of our origins, and we still work within that space, but we also have projects related to the not necessarily the demand side, but more progressive developments. So we have a youth program where we train young people in high school throughout Ventura County in environmental advocacy and community organizing, making sure that they have all of the tools in their toolkit to make a difference in their own community as it relates to the environment. We also have an air monitoring program that is funded by the California Air Resources Board, and the mission of that program, or the goal of that program, is to increase air monitoring in communities, the communities of West Ventura and South Oxnard, particularly as it relates to the heavy oil and gas industry in those communities. And then overall, we work to just build awareness at the local level of how fossil fuels impact our communities. We engage local area officials and government agencies and create coalitions with other like-minded organizations and people to ensure that the public is aware of these developments, and they know how to get involved in them and share their concerns and voices.
Wow. So is this all done by volunteers?
So for a long time, CFROG was only volunteers for a few years in the beginning. So we have a really dedicated board of directors and advisory board of activists and environmentalists across the county. And for a long time, it was just volunteers, but we currently have a small staff, small but mighty, staff of a few staff members. And then we do rely on volunteers in terms of showing the people power of environmentalism and promoting climate justice in Ventura County. So a little bit of both.
Very good. Speak to some of the challenges that you encounter.
Well, there's a variety of challenges. I think the climate crisis is, I feel really lucky to be working every day on being able to work on it every day, but it is, the major crisis that the world is currently facing. So it's a big problem, and for me personally, you just have to stay focused on the small incremental steps that you can make improvements in your community and within the county here. So that's definitely a big challenge. I think Another challenge is within the environmental nonprofits face a unique challenge. I think there's a variety of reasons out there, but it's only within the last few decades has there been a real growth in environmental nonprofits, and there's been, a variety of challenges in terms of funding and in terms of people seeing not necessarily the need, but the impact that it has today, without focusing too much on the larger mission that will only be achieved tomorrow and the next day and the next day.
Very good. Haley, how can people help?
Yeah, there's a variety of ways to help. The easiest and the most important is to sign up for our action alerts. So you can find that on our website, which is CFROG.org, CFROG.org. And by signing up for action alerts, you'll receive periodic updates through your email, with opportunities to get involved in local decision making and local issues within Ventura County and beyond. So that's a really great way if you're, wondering how you can get involved in the climate movement. That's a good step to learn about the environmental issues that we face here in Ventura County. And then also we provide the tools to get involved. So that's an easy way. Another opportunity there is to follow us on social media, where we also post all of our action alerts. And then, of course, if you'd like to have a more sustainable and ongoing relationship with us, we're always looking for volunteers and board members and youth leaders to continue to grow our organization and the promotion of a fossil fuel-free future.
Very good. Haley, when you're out and about in the community and someone asks what you do and you tell them, what's the main question that you get?
I think there's kind of two either you may have heard of CFROG. Likely, if you're in the environmental space, you may have heard of us, but a lot of people have not heard of us. And I think we, for many years, not have played behind the scenes, but have gotten a lot of work done with volunteers and at the really local grassroots level. So I think just the major question is, what do you all do and why? So just some things that people don't necessarily know about the oil and gas industry here. So Ventura County is the third or fourth, depending on production that month, the third or fourth most highest producing oil and gas county in California. So we play a really major role in terms of the industry here. And we also have because of our production and our history and the decrease in production here, just based on the natural reserves of oil and gas are decreasing, we have a really unique opportunity to kind of create a path forward that is green and inclusive to all workers and promote a just transition within all sectors that are impacted by this industry. So yeah, I think a lot of people maybe see the oil and gas industry here, but don't know a lot about the history or really the opportunity that we have in terms of transitioning away to a more thriving and sustainable economy.
Thank you. Haley, we're just about out of time here. I'm wondering if you have a closing message you might want to provide to the viewers, and could you repeat the website one more time?
Sure. So our website is www.cfrog.org. And I think the closing message that's always just so important to keep front of mind when you're working in the climate space is to stay hopeful and to stay joyful, not get bogged down by the literal storms that we've been experiencing with the atmospheric river and the increasing climate-related disasters like wildfires. And I think we're seeing there's a lot of negativity that we're having to face, but we need to make sure that we face it together in coalition with one another and with positivity and joy at the forefront, because that's the only thing that will sustain us throughout this fight.
Well said, Haley. Thank you so much for joining us. This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.